And I guess it begs the question, where did they find? How did they meet someone then? If online dating doesn't work for them.
So what's the best way to meet someone?
More it's how do you solve this issue then? Okay. Look, I guess because I also do astrology.
Yeah.
And part of that is looking at, of course, the life factors, but also people's love lives as well. And there are certain periods.
Well, Taoist astrology or the Chinese astrology is more based on relationships, yeah?
It's been used as a tool on relationships a lot because back then, I guess, in the old days.
I mean, Western has as well, hasn't it? But not
to that same depth. Because of the culture, they look at different things.
Yeah.
Look, remember, your tools, as in this case astrology, is developed according to the culture. What's important to the culture.
Yeah.
What you look at, that they look at. And so they develop accordingly. So in Western astrology, I guess what they might look at compatibility or so forth, and then they look at, okay, will you get along with that person? Will that person bring out your creative side? Or what else is he saying? Things like that.
So it's based upon like somebody with qualities.
Yeah.
Can be observed.
That you get along with.
And then so you say, oh, there you've got all these things that are in sync with the other person.
With that person, similar and that sort of thing.
So then there's an automatic bond or something.
Or something like that. But also, whereas the Taoist, because it's more of, can that person add value to your life? Okay. More than anything else, or will that person bring you down? Because the person that adds value to your life, then love's a given. You're going to love the person that adds value to your life. Rather than trying to find out, it's more of, things that you're in sync with, and that's pretty surface. And that is a result of a fundamental. So they're looking at the surface area, whereas the Taoist astrology looks at the fundamental, and that then would manifest, all the other things.
Do you got any examples of like that?
Of fundamentals? Like I just said, if that person adds value to your life, you automatically love them. And you'd get along, rather than go the other way, say, you find someone you get along with, and then you go deeper. So it's opposite way. So, like if that person happens to solve an issue for you.
Yeah.
That allows you. That's it. And in terms of adding value to your life, it's not just, cooking a few meals for you here and there, or fix your tire. That's not adding value.
It maybe adds some part of your personality that you lack.
It's a tool.
They have that in abundance.
So basically you look for people that it's more people that complement you. So skills that you don't have.
Yeah.
If you're not the most practical person, you found a partner with the skills that can handle so much of the practical. Wouldn't that immediately add value to your life? You just solved a big issue that you've got. And because of that, you're never going to leave them, are you?
Can you put that on a Tinder profile?
I solve people's problems. I can solve my partner's problems.
I'll solve all your problems.
I can solve that. Same. What's the reaction going to be?
Well, that's what people.
I don't need someone to solve problems for me, or something. I can make you wealthy. Saying, you know what? I can earn my own money. And so, but a big thing is. How it's relevant to dating is that not only yes, it's used for compatibility, but also when you are likely to meet someone.
Well, that's the big question.
Yeah. So if it's not a time when it's likely to meet someone, it's very difficult. You might end up with these, very mismatches if you're doing online horrible dates. Or even if you try to force it, if you're in a bar,
a certain time
when it's more conducive.
Uh-huh.
So you can try to push it.
So you'd want to wear your best clothes for that date
So
or
you can be
whatever.
prepared
So
during
you
that
can be
time
prepared.
on
Yeah.
that if you know during this period.
So you don't want to be sitting at home alone when it's your
No,
best time.
rest time. You want to give yourself, be out there, give yourself all the opportunities for that to happen.
I see.
So
what's the main difference between that and Western astrology?
well, Western in terms of romance, they don't go as deep as the Taoists. This when we say
What complements?
yeah, no. Look, one thing is we can. I'll finish off with the complete about the time of meeting someone. It's also that you're more aware that it's of that period that you're able to meet someone, a serious relationship, which is what you're aiming for. Otherwise, you just be on one date after another. It doesn't matter. Is when you're more receptive to people approaching you during that time, so you can be aware, or if you happen to bump into someone, it could be him or her. That's the one you've been looking for. So more likely to follow up and actually, or even speak to that person. If you happen to cross paths either through this situation or that.
So can you get an app for that? Like tells you when's your best time?
I should work on that.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
I should work on that though I do offer that service as well. When will you meet someone?
Make marriage great again through Taoist astrology.
Astrology, yeah. So yeah,
because a lot of people do hold it in high revere, don't they? Like in the old days, the villages would, you know, they would be very high esteem. These people.
Yeah, they're held in high esteem because they seem to be able to give them an advantage in life or help them through situations.
So tell you
information.
What you'd be good at as a career
or things like
what
that.
What kind of person you should marry.
What type of
stay
person.
Stay away from.
This type of person. Or actually, is that match that you brought to me, those details, do they match yours? Or is it good for you? Well, that it's good for you. Is that person good for you? Or not, or when is the likely time you should marry? I mean, there's times when, like I said, if it's not your time, it's really uphill. You can try to force the situation as much as you like by going on as many online dating apps and dates and so forth, or every Tom, Dick, and Harry that happens to say hello to you at a bar, but likely it's bad matches. So, and then I guess people do settle as well, putting themselves through bad dates and bad matches, try bad in relationships because I don't want to be alone. But if you knew when your time is, then you can forget about that. You don't have to. So this is the time I should meet someone. I'm due to meet someone. You're more open to when you meet people. To possibility that there could be a good partner for you, that could be the right partner for you, or the one you should be meeting at this point. And then also, I'm able to say when is you're likely to meet your what I call proper and improper spouse. It means just that. Now, the improper spouse is just that. It's like, yes, the person you may be able to marry, good enough to marry even. But if you do, it's more than likely it won't be a happy one and it won't last. And your proper spouse is just that. It's a one, if you're going to marry at all, that's the person you should be marrying.
Wow.
Yeah. And I tell some people, because there's some people's charts I've seen that encounter their proper spouse first and then improper spouse. Oh, and so that's when I have to tell people, look,
stay where you are.
Stay where you are. It's not worth.
Grass is not greener over the other side.
Giving up your proper spouse for the improper one. You'll later regret it. I guess in a way more like I haven't actually looked at Donald Trump and Ivana's charts. I've looked at Donald Trump, but not Ivana. Not comparing it to Ivana, But that's an example. That was his proper spouse. And then later he divorced her because he had an affair with that Marla Maples. Okay, and then later said he regretted leaving Ivana for Marla. I think his marriage with Marla lasted like 3 years. something only a few years. Whereas Ivana, I mean, they got wealthy together.
Yeah. She was partly the brains.
Yeah. So that was his proper spouse. So left a proper spouse.
Proper spouse.
Proper spouse for an improper one. You do it the other way around, but never do it this way. Leave your improper spouse for your proper spouse, because that's the right fit. More than the one with a bit of kink that's not quite right. If you're ever doing with these jigsaw puzzles,
Yeah.
there's ones that match the whole exactly, and the ones that you can try to force it a bit.
Could go if you just bang the table a bit.
Bang the table a bit. But if you just bang the table a bit, or just snip a bit off, and then you can force it in.
No, talking about snipping a bits off.
Yeah, the audience ideas. But so that's an example. So if you knew all that information beforehand, and so I tell people that would really give you perspective and be a good tool of making decisions in life. Yes, I know. I always tell people, but after this period, when you encounter your improper spouse, just behave yourself. If you're already married, and that was your proper spouse, behave yourself.
Behave yourself.
Behave yourself. Yeah, for your own good. You thank me. Okay? Thank me later after.
I got my proper spouse already. Dang.
You got your proper. That is your proper spouse. You won't go. You won't be able. You won't do better. As in that, you won't get anyone better for you. After that. So, like I say, information is the key. Information very powerful. We see it as a big tool in you getting through it. You're saying going through life easier.
If somebody wanted to do that, like, how would they go about it?
Well, just contact me. I mean,
but if they wanted to do some research or whatever on Chinese Taoist astrology.
I mean, I have to say that
people.
Info on my website. You can read that. Read that, and and I explain it. And I explain lots of tools that our ancients and our ancestors left behind us. That's it's still relevant today. Lots of things are relevant. I mean, it doesn't change because with the human nature is still the same.
So all them animals and things are all.
Well,
they all have a purpose.
Yeah, well, it's symbolic. It doesn't. It's a symbolic thing. So it's easier for people to understand. I guess use a symbol for something.
The thing about it is you really need to be accurate with the year, the month, the day of your birth.
Yes,
and the time,
the time as birth,
and the location.
Location.
Northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere.
Yeah, not as much. Well, it's a little different from the Western one. Was right under certain stars, whereas the Taoist is more of the energetics of that time around, so it's more local time. Okay, because energetics of 3 o'clock in this country would be about the same as energetics of 3 o'clock in another country. So it's the energetics of the environment. Okay? But and then you get the complete. I mean, you can do it without the time. I mean, unfortunately, not everyone knows what their time of birth is. People didn't think it was relevant. But then you're missing 25% of the information. You can do a reading, but it may not always be accurate. And I know that some readers refuse to do it without knowing the time because, per se, professionally, they can't, do a job where it may not be right. Not their fault, but simply because there's an unknown factor. But saying it's amazing tool in life. It's basically for knowledge, just like saying. People say, you can't have things set in stone. Well, think of it as like the weather forecast. That's not always 100% accurate because other factors can come in play. Things can change around dynamics, but you use it as a guide, don't you? So if they say it's going to be rainy certain days, you're not going to plan your picnic on those days.
Yeah.
It'd be silly to. It may not rain. Because that storm cloud may end up end up dissipating before
Or
it
like
gets
the
there.
charts of the sea, like the sea is to the minute, the tides. The tides are to the minute.
Yeah, but then sometimes things happen and it doesn't end up raining. Things like that. But by and large, it is a pretty good guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we check the weather forecast to plan our activities. And why would it even be much different? Checking your astrology to plan important events in your life. In this case, it's your love life.